Well, it all started with a sore finger. Just one finger on my left hand, and it just felt stiff at first, and I was like, sore finger, okay, you don't do anything about a sore finger, I just thought. And then I woke up one morning and both my hands were sore, the same fingers in both my hands, and I was like, okay, this isn't normal, and it got progressively worse and worse until I eventually ended up in hospital with the pain. Then that's when I suppose the ball really started rolling, and that's when I was given a few diagnoses like, I don't even remember what they were now, but I was given treatments for those diagnoses, which subsequently they didn't work. I was lucky enough to have Professor March, who was there that day, and she sort of took the reins, and then I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis and was put on a medicine which was quite full on.
What was that?
Methotrexate, and that was actually horrific, to be honest. So they took me off it because, well, I took me off it, and then began the journey of trying different medications to see what would work. And none of them worked for me. They just, I think probably for 2 years. I then got put on a biologic, and the first biologic I tried was like magic. Seriously, like they were like, it can take months to work. It took about 5 days for me to feel a real improvement, and for 6 months I was amazing, but then as quickly as it started working, it just stopped working, and I went further backwards than, I was worse when it stopped working than when I was first diagnosed. I had such severe inflammation in my hands and my wrists, particularly, my fingers and my knees, to the point where I couldn't walk. I couldn't do the things that you do on a daily basis just to exist. Even pushing out a tablet from the packet, it took me, longer to do that than it should. I had to get my pharmacist to open them all, put them in a container for me. Everything is so much harder because every single thing you do is tainted by not just a bit of pain, not just a bit achy, but excruciating pain. Work-wise, it's been, I've had to miss a lot of work. I've missed a lot of opportunities. I've even lost jobs simply because I've been too unwell to perform my tasks and to perform what I was employed to do. If I get sick again, like quite sick, there's a good chance that I won't be able to work again, and that means that I can't then support myself. And where do you go from there? Socially, it's affected really every aspect of my social life, from being, a bit of a nana because I get so tired after work that I can't actually do anything, to not being able to go on the bushwalks or go, kayaking with my friends, or, I used to have quite an active life, and there are things that I just can't do anymore. It affects a lot of people, including myself, mental health. I think it's really hard to not be affected with the loss of your life as you know it, and you can go through almost a grieving period, which I know that I did do, and it was quite hard not to become quite bitter and resentful. Instead of letting that happen though. I just threw myself into not being a passive bystander in my own treatment and not letting it win. I wouldn't let it win, and that's part of that is being a part of the A3BC, being part of seeing some positive change and maybe even finding a cure. When I first heard about the A3BC, the idea of bringing many different data sources and many different sort of people's health records and biological samples like tissue and blood and clinical data and patient reported data like the ARAD. Having as much of that as possible from as many different people as possible, and then actually looking at it, giving researchers an opportunity to look at why it's happening, why some things work for others, and while it doesn't work for some, why some people end up in a wheelchair and some people end up with a few aches and pains. And we need as many people as possible involved in it.